see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. And welcome to episode 781 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today I am enjoying a light Nicaraguan from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with discount code LOTS10, LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club. Along with the coffee, we'll be having a little discussion. Today, we're going to be talking Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton. I guess Diddy could be a hurricane. We'll be talking a little bit about Diddy and so much more. First, let's grab a cup and head over into the live chat, see who's hanging out, and we'll start the conversation. Sorry, guys. Wow. I was running behind. I started doing notes for some stuff I wanted to hit on, and got down a little sidetracked rabbit hole and didn't realize what time it was. So I apologize for being a little disheveled more than normal this morning. How's everybody doing today? Hanging laundry in early. Good morning, Brian, Corey, and all. A great new thumbnail for the show. Thank you. Actually, I made the thumbnail, and there's some issues with it, with the visibility and the readability on some of the podcast players. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not. I don't do well. I do enough to be able to figure it out, but yeah. It didn't turn out as good as it could. It does work for the YouTube, but I wanted to stay consistent between the small square thumbnails and the podcast players and the larger ones on YouTube. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Thanks for stopping in. Digger, good morning to you. John Palmer, good morning and good day, sir. And Off-Grid Ping down there. Jamie, good morning. Good morning, Jamie. Off-Grid Ping. Hunter in over on Twitch as always. Be sure you keep them spammers out. He says definitely graphic and maybe an artist. Yeah, I guess art is all subjective. I guess what somebody calls art, others call trash. So we'll see. How's everybody doing today? It is hump day. And my beautiful bride had to roll back into work this morning. We'll see how it goes. I didn't check the Mega Millions tickets last night. I had a Mega Millions chance at the Mega Millions drawing last night. So you could literally be talking to a multi-millionaire and didn't even know it. Who knows? You never know, right? That Nicaraguan's good. I was starting to get caught up with sleep this week so far. I was trying to get a little caught up from the long stretch there with the work days at Delinquent Scully and SRF, and I felt like I was doing good. Last night I actually laid down in bed to go to sleep, and I just laid there. Almost like I wasn't tired, like I was going to bed too early. I laid there for a while, and I think I might be caught up. I think I might be back to my normal schedule where I can stay up a little later at night, be doing some, I do like after work. Corey goes, is YouTube acting up, Digger? Acting up as how, what's going on YouTube? Having issues watching? Is it the audio? Is it on your end or mine? Hagen Laundry said, how is everyone? I'm a grandma for the first time. Congratulations. Did I have a show commenting on Helen devastation? Brian would like to hear your thoughts. I'm going to talk about it today. Actually, that's something I have on the list today. I've been getting more and more information, and I did a live stream with Nicole Sauce and Sean Mills yesterday that spurred a little bit more. So, yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about it today. I was going to talk about Milton rolling in and some other things. So. But I think I'm caught up on my sleep, which is good. I can go to bed at my normal time after I do a little bit of extra work in the evenings. I like to spend the evenings with Corey as much as possible. That's why I married her. I've always kind of I've maintained that I married the woman because I like to spend time with her. I like to be around her. And when she's not working, I try to be here and spend the time with her. When she goes to bed quite early. She also gets up quite early, but I have a little more bandwidth in the evening. She requires a little bit more sleep than me, so I try to take advantage of that time after she goes to bed and do some computer work, video editing, show prep, things like that. But man, I was sacking out early with her. I can't pick on her anymore for being such an early bedtime person after the last few days. But I think I'm caught up. So back to the grind. Yeah, let's get into it. Nicaraguan's good. It's the last press out of the bag of Nicaraguan this morning. And who knows what we'll be picking up tomorrow. I got that random pile. Oh, Digger said wouldn't show that he smashed the thumb and wasn't showing the chat. Huh. Interesting. Were you logged in? Oh, I guess you were logged in. You commented earlier. Interesting. YouTube does some wonky things on my computer also. When randomly, both on the creator side and on the viewer side. So I don't know. It's probably something to do with Milton going to hit Florida. Anyway, yesterday I was on a live with Nicole Sauce and Sean Mills. So I believe it was Nicole's Tuesday. Hey, Backwoods Butcher, thanks for stopping in. On the journey home. Congratulations. How was the day with Mr. Blakesley and crew yesterday? Did you get them all straightened up? Did you get them in line and teach them how to be real butchers? You teach them the ropes and tell them how it is. And I hope you got some good content. I saw some stuff coming out a little bit. Drive safe, brother. Drive safe. I hope you I hope you make it in. John Palmer says that was a great live show. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. It was all them. It was all them for sure. But originally, when Nicole reached out before SRF, she said, "Hey, you want to come on live on Tuesday morning after SRF to talk about Nostra?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about Nostra?" She's like, "I don't know, just general stuff about Nostra." Makes it a little tough to prepare and be ready. It was just kind of going to be off the cuff, which is fine. But it's pretty technical and there's a lot of it depends and there's a lot of depending on skill level type of answers. So I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And then lo and behold, Sean pops in and basically we were just having a little discussion. The discussion ranged from, excuse me, an SRF recap to North Carolina, Tennessee conditions, what's going on there after Hurricane Helene, after the aftermath, the recovery, the media blackout, what people can do to help, and really just information from people that are there. Being in Western Tennessee, being in the self-reliance community, being in Nicole's Living Free in Tennessee community, and all the ones that kind of hub and spoke out of it, we have people there. People in our networks, people that we know in the meat space, and it's me, RZ. You see him bopping around in the Telegram chats and whatnot. He showed up at Delinquent's Gully on Friday, rode his bike up from Mississippi. He was down there scouting properties, and he swung up here, and he said, I always like going around and meeting people in the meat space. And I thought that was fantastic. Tim was always using, I went and met my imaginary internet friends. I like the meat space. I like meeting people in meat space. So that is true. We have people on the ground there. I shouldn't say we. I don't have anybody on the ground. I do know people there. I do know people that are out there. They're not working for me. I don't know. I have received messages from people that are there, that are seeing things with their own eyes. Nicole is very tied in with a lot of the recovery efforts. Bear Independent was at SRF and with Grindstone Ministries. He's leading a recovery effort, so he's reporting back. These are people that we know aren't AI. We know aren't being manipulated by the media. The stories aren't being squelched. What they're seeing and what they're sending back via video, and there's several people. Those are just off the top of my head. We're getting actual reports, and it is 1,000 times worse than anybody would know. If you just watched the news, you thought there was a little flooding. I think the last I saw on the news was 250 people dead. There's reports coming out that there's thousands and thousands of people already. And I say already because they're going to be finding folks. There's going to be devastation being fixed for a very, very long time. They don't want to show it. I don't know what the reason is. I tried to think about it a little bit. I've tried to understand why there wouldn't be coverage of it. I try to understand why there's that media blackout. I'm trying to understand why FEMA isn't letting folks, private citizens, in with relief aid or manual labor, people coming to help work, help these people that are probably pretty fucked right now. Many stories of supplies being turned back, supplies being destroyed, even, and people asserting an authority that they really don't have. So I'm still up in the air on what I think is going on. I really don't know. Hit the comments here. But Backwoods Butcher says, worked me like a free mule. John Palmer says, haven't been able to follow anyone on Primal. Yeah, Primal is what it is. It's a beginner's tool for sure. Backwoods Butcher says, Joe's wife marked my height on the door jamb with the kids, so he'll be. So Joe will know how tall his daddy really is. Somebody's following me on Twitter or on Twitch, and they want me to follow them. Sorry. Off-Grid Pink says the government is actively murdering people with these storms, in his opinion. And Rewild Life says same, can't figure out why. Yeah, so there's lots of layers to this. So Sean Mills is a Sean's a super smart dude. Sean's really in tune with the weather, the kind of the stats and the numbers and things like that. Off-grid ping says land grabs, population control, climate lockdowns. Can't put my finger on it either. Pip, good morning, Pip. Says, what minerals does Florida have for harvesting? Maybe land for tourists. Hunter says the FEMA allowing thing, rule number one is don't make more victims. So I kind of understand the don't go past the line. If there is to a point. It's a bad situation. I mean, we have all seen and discussed. I have to have a feeling since all the different hurricanes that have come through, and we've watched the incompetency, hurricanes, tornadoes, all the natural disasters, and we've watched the incompetence of FEMA, both in the speed and effectiveness of their response. That's fucking fine and dandy that they don't want more victims. But I think just by their natural state and their natural function as a government organization, the fact that that we're forced to rely on them creates many more victims than letting people go and attempt to help at their own risk. Hanging Laundry says sickening, zero help. Lahaina land grab. I hear the area is a huge potential source of lithium. People are now starting to starve to death, no doubt. Yeah, there's lots of places that I don't think people have been yet. Now we're getting further into this, and the rednecks are winning. They're getting in. The Cajun Navy, the private organizations, watching the story, the reports come out from some of these guys that own private helicopters as recreation in there helping, and the shots from the airstrips where they're staging, and just the line of private helicopters trying to drop supplies in. It's I don't necessarily want to say it's heartwarming, but it makes you feel like there's people out there that give a shit. Off-Grid Pig says you'll own nothing and be happy, right? Back to that lithium thing. I've heard rumors of the lithium. Another big resource that they have in the mountains of North Carolina is quartz and silicone for chips, microchips. If we were to want to domesticate all the production of boards and chips for computers and processors and things like that, there'd be a really, really abundant source of silicone and quartz there. We also, I have heard the lithium thing. So, the Canadian Farmstead over on the vertical feed says, as an outside observer, the response seems to have been getting worse and slower the last 20 years. I agree for sure. John Palmer says there are also people that will go into disaster areas to loot, posing as relief. Yeah, I don't know how much looting's going on here, man. Everything's pretty much fucked and ruined. Off-Grid Ping said he's heard that it's the only place where the quartz comes from. I don't know about that. Pip says it's reassuring to see lines of people using their own stuff to help. Yeah, and so yesterday, Sean and Nicole and I were talking, and a kind of a special thing happened at SRF surrounding this. So we all know about, most of us know about Bear Independent and Grindstone Ministries and disaster relief that he does on the ground, lots of hands, lots of support financially and knowledge, and just the way they work. They put together a pretty good effort. So that was fantastic. We were raising money. We were raising money to help them. And Sean happened to talk to him, and he was talking to him not as Sean from Hack My Homestead, not as Sean the solar guy, not as Sean anybody. Just, hey, what can we do to help? Hang on, Laundry says Red Cross collecting funds at Walmart checkout lines. Wonder if the victims will see it. Yeah, probably not. So so Sean was talking to Bear, and he says, what are some of the challenges there right now? And there's a list a million miles long. There's no access. A lot of these mountain communities were accessible by bridge. Not huge long bridges like they hit with cargo ships in the bays of Baltimore. How's that going, by the way? But small mountain pass bridges over creeks and streams that just quadrupled or more in the water level, wiping it out. Walls of water just taking out roads, bridges, mountainside passes. If you've ever driven through the mountains, you'll kind of know what I mean. There's some places that look sketchy to go, even in the best of conditions. So when the mountain just kind of crumbles off the side with the big river of water coming down it, there's no access to a lot of these communities. And thank God that most of them are self-sufficient type of people, that they're probably as prepared as possible. They kind of work on their own. That's why they live out there in these areas. But yeah, just complete isolation. So he was talking about access being a problem. That's why all the helicopters are coming in handy. They're dropping supplies, they're dropping food and water and things to these people that you can't get a truck to. And if you can't get a truck to, you can't get equipment to. And if you can't get equipment to, you can't get power to. And that's what Sean got talking about with him, was power. Linemen are great at running lines, putting in poles, this, that, and the other thing when they have their equipment. But when there's no access to bring in the equipment to do the work, to repair the power lines, to get things going, what do you do? What do you do? So they're talking about quartz in the morning. Tom, thanks for stopping. Off-grid ping says supposed to be the most pure quartz that all semiconductor producers use to melt silicone. Yeah, I don't know about all of it. I'm not sure. Hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna sneeze. All right. So Bear was telling Sean, power is an issue. Power is an issue for multiple reasons. Comms, refrigeration, light. Power makes things easier. Thanks, Canadian Farm said. Appreciate you. Canadian Farm says it always amazes me, people crossing the country with no bridges and wagons. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. So I see a lot of people building bridges there. I was watching a couple of videos of people building some bridges out of some interesting stuff, but talk about that another time. Bear was talking about the power situation, and Sean, perks up and he says, I can help with that. I can help with power. So what Sean's doing right now, he's putting together an effort, and he went around at SRF and he used some of his contacts to get some solar panels donated. And what they want to do is put together some toolboxes that basically will have a self-sustaining battery system. So basically a solar panel, a battery, connectors that are all marked with color-coded tape, that they drop this in with a helicopter. They go and access these places that aren't going to have power for possibly years, definitely months, more than likely years. Like I said, the infrastructure has to be built to be able to get the equipment and supplies there to rebuild this. They're going to be able to drop in solar panel units with battery bank, with large capacity batteries, with all the wires and connections, and to get it up and going. They're also going to be able to probably put in like a Starlink dish with receiver that is powered off that. So to get these people some comms, to get them some way to communicate, to get them able to run refrigeration, to charge batteries, to run some lights, things like that. And they're going to be able to put these together and fly them in a helicopter and drop them on a pallet. Fly them in, drop them, have instructions there, and get these communities some power. So Sean got 100 solar panels, 100 300 and I think he said 317 watt solar panels donated from one of his companies, and he's currently putting together basically an Amazon shopping list of supplies that they're going to need to put these together. And I'll be keeping in touch with him, and as he gets more information or a place to donate for that particular project, I'd like to push that out and see if people can contribute to that. That's a great thing. People doing things that they know how to do to help as much as they can. It's disheartening, or it kind of hurts a little bit when you sit here and you go, I wish I could help. What can I do? And then people like Sean are able to look and say, hey, this is what I can do. And he's getting his wife and his daughter kind of squared away for a little while. And then he's going to head out there and camp in his vehicle and work on this project. So good on Sean. I appreciate that. If you don't know who Sean is and you want to follow his stuff, just search Hack My Homestead, HACK, Hack My Homestead. You can find him TikTok, YouTube, all those places, or check out that live from Nicole's yesterday. If you're in the community, you probably heard of Sean. He helped us with our water project out at Delinquent's Gully, and he's a big member of the community. He's doing great things. So good on Sean for sure. And I'd like to throw our community support behind him as he gets that thing rolling, because I think that power situation and his solution to it is top notch. So John Palmer says Sean is awesome. He's a fantastic guy. I often say to Corey after I spend any significant time with Sean that man, he's a brilliant dude. He really has his shit together, and I enjoy talking to him because he's just a wealth of knowledge on so many different topics, and that's polymath type of thinking really jives well with me, and we can have a ton of conversations together. He says the Kickstarter you did was cool. Oh, with the DC water pumping and things like that. Yeah, actually, I've when all this shakes out and people kind of get a little less busy, I'm going to be talking to him about the ins and outs of Kickstarters and a project that I have in mind. So there was that topic. Nicole also mentioned an effort that might be going on. It's kind of in the works. It's a long tail type of thing, but one of the things through her research, not her research, but things that she's looked into, one of the biggest issues with rebuilding a lot of the times with these natural disasters, and there's studies that came out of Katrina, is building permits and building codes, and we all know about them and we all love them. we all hate them, but when it comes down to it, in a situation like this, where every structure in the area is ruined or demolished, and you're going to have to rebuild these, the permitting process is a basically the more, hey, what's up, Martinson family over on the vertical feed? How's it going? Appreciate you stopping in. Hope all is well. Basically, as much of a pain in the ass as it is for you and me to go through the permitting process. Now imagine if it was you and every single one of your neighbors, every single person in your town, every business in your town, everybody needs a permit for everything. Who's going to issue them? There's nobody to even issue them. So one of the roadblocks is these permittings, the inspections, everything going on there. By the way, Martinson family over in the vertical feed, I don't know if you realize that we have 2 feeds now. Most of the folks in the chat are over on the main feed, but I run the vertical feed because it populates in a different place and brings in a different audience. So maybe you like it in the comments by yourself, but we got a dozen or more people over in the main feed if you want to pop over there. No need, no requirement though. Like the views no matter what. So what Nicole has seen or heard of, it was just in passing in her conversation. Basically, there's a push after these disasters to suspend building permits for whatever, likely a finite amount of time. My smart ass comment was like, if we can get them suspended, can we just do it indefinitely? Like that would help everybody, but at least a push to get them suspended temporarily while the areas rebuild. Even the less than completely demolished areas, the ones that have minor damage, but the infrastructure needs to be fixed. Getting that permitting and inspection and thing requirements out of the way will speed that recovery, will aid that recovery. So she mentioned that she was going to reach out to some folks that she knew in policy making, and I got done with the live and I started doing the rest of my stuff during the day, and I had to send some messages. I remembered a couple people that I felt that not necessarily could get stuff done, but could get people talking about it. Get people to talk about how much benefit this could have. So I sent my messages. My contact started making phone calls. So hopefully that pushes an effort. You know me, if you've watched the show at all, you know that anything about government I absolutely fucking despise. But I do have friends that participate in the madness. I do have friends that have some clout and some people listen to them, or have people that they know that people will listen to. And I understand that this doesn't come from the state level. I understand most likely the permitting, inspection, and all that is on a county or town or city level. But when the conversation starts at the state level, hopefully it can trickle down and make a difference. So, you know, I'm helping. I can do what I can do. And it hit me where I had to, because I made the connection in my brain. So hopefully that helps. If you guys know anybody in a position to make some noise about it, maybe reach out and say, hey, start talking about this. I mean, we got some well-connected folks in this audience. Make a phone call, send a message, be like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about getting behind something like this? Have you ever thought about making a phone call for us? Things like that. So that's Helen. It's really bad, guys. Like really, really bad. So what happened, from what I understand, I'm going to try to explain this. I ran through it once with Sean Mills, and I kind of understood the science, but I'm going to have to try to explain it again after only hearing it once. And so what happened with Helen and why it was so bad. And this is withstanding the geoengineering, the cloud seeding, the pushing the storms, which we might talk about that when we have time here at the end. How it got where it was and why is a different question, but the actual mechanics of what happened and why it was so bad was really interesting. Basically, when you have some mountains, and you have weather. I don't know. I guess this might work. I don't have anything to make a mountain. Here's my mountain. That's not going to work. When you have a mountain and you have weather systems coming at the mountain, the elevation changes. You get rainfall on the one side of the mountain. All the rain drops out, the weather system moves over, and then there's an arid area on the backside. So one side of the mountains are used to getting all the rain, the other side's arid, and use my nose. Okay, thanks. The weather comes in this way, and it goes up over. No, that's backwards. It goes here, and it goes up over the mountain. As the elevation, it drops the rain, and then the backside of the mountain is like a desert. You see it in different places around, and my science might be backwards or whatnot, but basically one side of the mountains are saturated with rain on a normal basis, and the other side's arid. And we know what happens when there is a lack of rain for an extended period of time. Basically gets water phobic. The infrastructure isn't really set up for handling large amounts of rain, things like that. So what happened with Helen is hurricane rotating, and the way it came in basically took all the rain and put it on the wrong side of the mountain. It dumped massive amounts of rain. Like, he was giving numbers, and it was incomprehensible to me. I was trying to wrap my head around the numbers, the gallons of water produced by this storm. And the volumes were just unbelievable. That in itself could have been destruction. That in itself could have just been devastating. But the fact that volume of water hit an area that is almost continuously arid and designed, and the infrastructure and everything is designed that way, doubled down. Off-Grid Pig says, hey, we trust the science around here. All you have to do is say the word science and we know you're correct. I am a scientist. You need to trust me. Basically, that's what happened. The hurricane, with the rotation and the way it tracked, ended up dumping a shitload of water where Hospella Rottweiler says we'll have to add whitewater raft to the preps. Basically dropped a shitload of water where there isn't normally water. So not only, and like if it had been dumped on the normal side of the mountain where it normally gets the rain, it would have been bad. The fact that it dumped where it's not supposed to be or normally isn't is what caused the mass devastation. And back to the blackout. I've been trying to figure it out. We know the media is what the media is. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping in. He says, I've talked about it to more than 3 people. Now you're an expert. Thanks. Thanks for validating my knowledge. Oh, by the way, Chris, I should hopefully get your present out in the mail today. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the hardware for the cabin. It's phenomenal, man. It looks awesome. Mr. Dixon is a blacksmith, and he sent a package down for Toolman Tim for the work days. And when we opened it up, lo and behold, there was a gift for Toolman and Becky and Corey and I also. And he made some fantastic hardware for the cabin: paper towel holders, hooks, toilet paper holders, and things like that. Man, they're great. I appreciate it. You should try. Everybody should check out White White for Chris. What's the name of your forge? I'm sorry. I was caught off guard. I don't have it. I have your business card. Oh wait, I put your sticker on my bottle, and my bottle's out in the other room. Thanks, Chris. All right, Martin's family. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Canadian Farmstead says, at least I didn't add a power in that name. Canadian Farmstead says he's going to take everything I say and tell people about it today. And at the end said, experts say. Experts say. God. So yeah, really bad. I don't know why they're not showing what's going on. Hold on, I'll go get the. Hold on. White North Forge. You can find them on Etsy. White North Forge. You can find them on Etsy. I think. You don't, Chris, do you have a website of your own yet? Or are you only based through Etsy at the moment? His wife is also super talented. I follow her on Facebook, artist, and man, what a talented household. I don't know why no one's talking. I mean, I shouldn't say no one's talking, but we're talking about it. People are talking about it. People are sharing it. The problem right now is we don't know how jaded people are to social media, and the fact that, like, is this real or is this real? We kind of touched on this when we talk about AI. What do you believe? What do they believe? What do you believe in the age of AI video, AI photos, and things like that? I don't know if it's a desensitization. I don't know if it's a we only trust the news, or I don't know if it's all these crazy fuckers through the whole COVID thing. Now they're talking about the media is lying to us about devastation in North Carolina. Well, if that's their line of thinking, they should realize that we were fucking right before, and maybe we're right now. But society seems to be so hell-bent on believing whatever the fucking news feeds them, that all the news has to say is, oh, there's 250. The casualties are 250 people. In which fucking town? Maybe they can't get there. I want to believe that there aren't that many evil people in the mainstream media, but I don't know. There's got to be reporters that are like, this isn't fucking right. This isn't right that we're not reporting the truth. There's gotta be people out there. I guess they get fired if they think that way, but I don't know what the point is. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if it's the news cycle. Obviously now attention's going to be completely drawn to Milton coming into Florida, because I guess Florida now stole Milton's stapler, and that's going to be another shit show. I was looking at Milton stuff, and it basically, at one point when it was out over the Gulf, I saw a meteorologist talking about the fact that the eye of this storm was so small, 3.5 miles wide, basically, and the pressure was so low that mathematically it was approaching the limit to how low of atmospheric pressure could be over the ocean. So he's like, yeah, you heard that right. There's a mathematical limit to what the barometric, the atmospheric pressure can be over a body of water. And the pressure at the eye of this hurricane was approaching that number. So basically, at one point, and it's supposed to dissipate a little bit, I believe, from what I was still seeing. Pip says, crap, I do have a red stapler. I need to find that for some photo ops. Yeah, Pip, you need to do the America flag out in the street, like the meme I posted, or the GIF I posted, and you need to have the red stapler up. Call it off, Milton. But basically, at one point out over the Gulf, this was almost the strongest hurricane that could possibly happen on the face of the earth. Pip says some news reports say many transplants that moved to Florida will be moving away after this storm. He says we can only hope. Chris Nixon says the news blackout up here really leaves me jaded on current events, and I kind of quit paying attention, which is also bad, but mission accomplished, I guess. Well, right. Misinformation or no information, it is what it is. It's really good when you're trying to focus on your own life. Checking out from the media, the mainstream media, the news on TV, using alternative sources, and you have to be careful in that you're not diving down a rabbit hole that is also just not true, but on the other side of the coin. It's great for your life. It was funny with Starlink going out the week before Gully Days, going out and spending all the time at DG with no signal, and then spending the weekend at SRF where I barely even took my phone out of my pocket, which is telling because I had 0 pictures or videos on my phone from 2 days at SRF. I was there with people that I met in Meat Space for the first time. I got to see really good friends that came in, and that I see very infrequently, and I didn't take my phone out for a picture, video, nothing the whole time. I didn't know that Iran shot missiles at Israel. I didn't know that Israel went into Lebanon. I didn't know any of the bullshit went on. Yesterday, I happened to find out that they were having a debate. How'd that go? Was that yesterday or the day before? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But in the new little news blurb on the radio, and my radio works once every 5 times I start my truck, they said, it'll be interesting to watch Kamala Harris answer questions since she hasn't done or she's done one formal interview in the last 6 weeks. And I just kind of chuckled and went, so we have someone running for the president of this country that doesn't do interviews? Isn't the election in less than a month? Isn't the election in less than a month, and she's done one interview in the last 6 weeks? That sounds like somebody I'd want to put in charge of the country. Hey, what is your, we don't know. We don't know what her position is on anything because she doesn't either. She hasn't been giving her marching orders yet. But checking out is really nice, guys. You should try it every once in a while. If you can't stand to do it forever, maybe do it for a little bit. Maybe do it for a week and see what it does for you. But the flip side of that coin is you don't know about things that happen like North Carolina, like Helene in North Carolina. And I guess you wouldn't know if you're watching mainstream media anyway. But have some outlets that you can kind of poke around at that gets you some stuff that might be really important, actually important to you. So along with the information I was reading about Milton and how the eye was so small, the pressure was so low, it was also talking about the phenomenon of Tampa Bay and kind of two scenarios that could come along with depending on which way Milton tracks. Basically it said with the rotation of the hurricane as it's approaching the Gulf, it can go one of two ways. It can either go north of Tampa Bay or south of Tampa Bay. And it's about a 15-mile difference from what they said. Now, I didn't fact check this article. He was a meteorologist. It seemed like he knew what he was talking about. I am not a meteorologist, and I don't even play one on TV. But basically, he said, and this makes sense in my brain, with the rotation of the hurricane, and this was the issue with North Carolina with the dumping the water in the wrong spot. With the rotation of the hurricane, if it goes slightly north of Tampa Bay, the eye, and the rotation is pushing in to the bay, I believe I have that right, pushing into the bay, basically it's vacuuming all the water from the Gulf of Mexico and driving it into Tampa Bay. And they're going to see some really, really bad shit go down. They were, and this might all been sensationalized, and it might back off on the predictions as things get closer. But when they were doing models at the strength the storm was in the Gulf, they were saying they could see 12 foot storm surges. 12 foot. That's deep. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of force. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of unusable structures when the water recedes. That's a lot of underwater vehicles. A lot of underwater vehicles. A lot of basically the city's fucking gone. Hunter says that's up to 15 foot now possible. So storm goes 15 miles the opposite direction, 15 miles south to the bottom of the bay, and basically the storm will suck all the water out of Tampa Bay. Tampa will be spared. Fort Myers in that area, it sounds like it get pretty blasted, but at least it isn't a big funnel pushing the water into the bay. It will be less destruction. Less concentrated population hurt. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a fucking shit show, but they're saying if this storm goes slightly north of Tampa Bay, it tracks up there. This could just be an absolute one of the worst ones to hit Florida in quite some time. So keep an eye open for that. I'm sure those folks are going to end up needing a lot of help too, because FEMA is going to be able to say, hey, our resources are really cut thin with all the tremendous work we're doing up in the mountains of North Carolina, where private citizens and privately funded organizations are doing the yeoman's work, and FEMA's just getting in the fucking way. I'm guessing those guys up in North Carolina, those rednecks that are like, we'll fucking fix this, get the fuck out of here. They have that mentality off the bat. That's why they live out in the fucking mountains. I'm guessing their sentiment is, you know what, FEMA, head to Florida and take care of those folks because we got this fucking handled. We don't need your shit. So there's that. Now, Jamie says something. So Tampa wants to be the first smart city in Florida. Just throwing that out there. I did start tiptoeing down some. I did start tiptoeing down some lines of thinking of how and why. Noah right now, coincidentally, I see an article this morning that says NOAA previously predicted this to be one of the worst hurricane seasons on record. Why would we be trotting that out there right now? Because they were actually right. Are people going, wait, whoa, wait, back to back? Now, let's see if this storm Milton goes straight across Florida, goes out into the ocean, reconstitutes and re-strengthens and makes a big U-turn and pops right back at the coast of North Carolina or Georgia or anything like that. Pip says, fuck Noah. They claim that every year. Oh, so they get it right once and they got to tout it. Chris Dixon says, people have little concept of how much water that is. When we flooded in 2014, it happened with just 22 inches of rain over 3 weeks. Those numbers sound like what a lot of areas in North Carolina got in 2 days. So 1/10 of the time. All at once. Here it is. And then Florida, it's gonna be bam, there it is. So let's get a bunch of people down into Florida and start blowing north. Maybe blow that storm or south, excuse me. Everybody in the United States right now, if you could do a collective inhale and exhale towards the south, maybe we can get enough weather manipulation. Sorry, I got a dog hair in my eye, guys. It's driving me absolutely insane. We could get enough weather manipulation to push that storm just south of Tampa Bay. Hunter says he just drove under an overpass that's at 16 foot 4 inches. So within a foot of the 15-foot possible predicted storm surge in Tampa Bay. And he said that's a lot of water. Yeah, dude. That's 2 adults standing, well, 3 mini adults, like 3 mini adults standing on top of each other. Not midgets, not dwarves, just average 5-foot people. My wife tells me that she's average, so we'll go with it. 3 average height women standing on top of each other, head to foot, is 15 foot. Pip's wondering how tall the Bigfoot truck is. Let me dial back into my monster truck days and I'll let you know how tall Bigfoot is, Pip. Hunter says he's flipping me off right now because he's the shortest one. Were you taller than Zach? Tri Oaks Ranch, Zach, going to the butchers. Were you taller than him? He's a pretty short dude. Guys, it's gonna be bad. If it's on purpose, I know we get all kind of conspiracy theory and stuff. And I really, as much as I'm open to it, and I'm going to talk about this on a show coming up, but I've really made a change in my view of folks and their beliefs. For a long time, I was like, so it was weird. Like I would believe the plausible conspiracies. I would believe the this is pretty likely true. And I would entertain the idea of some of the more out there things. And then there were just things that were wackadoodle crazy to me. Living through COVID, making it through having COVID, living through COVID, and being one of the wackadoodles, being the guy that stood in the break room with all his coworkers in the HR department and the management of his company and was the only one standing there that said, I ain't putting that shit in my body. You can take your job and shove it up your ass. Being that person. And being the person that said all the things that turned out to be true changed my perspective on how I look at anybody. I can't not give them the right to believe whatever they want. I can't call anybody crazy anymore after you're the crazy guy. But you're not. You weren't the crazy guy. You were right. They couldn't prove me wrong, so they just called me crazy. And it didn't feel great. I can't prove people wrong. And maybe if I can even, am I proving them wrong with things that are actually false? We know the education we got is bullshit. How do I know what's actually true? With all the misinformation that we've proven has been disseminated, with all the information that has been all the information in the history books and in schools and all along the way that is blatantly false or biased, I can't 100% say that anybody's wrong. And it really changed the way I look at other people. Mike's Homestead in with the good fact check. Bigfoot is 15 foot 6 inches tall per the Monster Truck Wiki. Take the Ride says, when someone tells me not to talk about something, makes me want to talk about it more. Yeah, I mean, this is more on a, like, I can't even give you an example of, okay, lizard people. Okay, let's go back to classic Alex Jones. They're turning the frogs gay. They're turning the frogs gay. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Maybe I can form an opinion that more than likely they're not, but you know what? I can't say 100% that they're not turning gay. And Tom says the gay frog thing turned out to be true. Right. Right. Chris Dixon says maybe flat earthers, but we like their spirit. I mean, but really, did you see somebody that posted Neil Armstrong's spacesuit from the 60s? And I'm like, that'll work. Looked like something off a fucking sci-fi movie set from the 80s. Robot man. Oh yeah. Hanging Laundry says, my slogan is everyone is right. What people believe all across the spectrum is right to them. I can't change them. And Tom nails it. Exactly. Here it is. This is what I was trying to say. And he elegantly put it as in, like, I don't think there's a chance that the earth is flat, but if it turned out it was, I also wouldn't be shocked. So I have to give them their credit. I have to give them their ideas. Rewilder Life says, right, feeling nuttier and vindicated. And not vindicated. Like, there isn't even any, there's nothing. So there's people still getting boosters, guys. There's nothing, there's nothing that vindicates it. You have to find your truth, and it's weird. We're starting to use the vernacular and the vocabulary of people that we were like, what? My truth? Really believe what you believe. Hopefully you do your research, and we talk about doing research, but what are you using as the basis for your research? The bottom line is a lot of these things have public documents. History books are public too, man. You know who writes the history? The fucking winners. Were the Native Americans the first people here? Because I was spoon fed that for 12 years all the way through public education. Nothing about the prehistoric, the not pre our history civilizations that were here. So what research do you do? What is your source for doing the research? What is actually true? We don't know. Unless you can physically touch it, verify it with your own hands in real life, do we really know anything is accurate? Chris Dixon likes to research it on TikTok like everyone else. That's my favorite place to find conspiracies for sure. Rewilder Life says, yeah, question everything, but I still say I feel vindicated on some of this. Been awake for a long time, long enough to see some stuff really happen and verify. And that is what you can hold on to. That is what you can hold on to. Things that you experience, things that happen in real time. And hopefully there's places that you can document it and share it with others. Share it with the next generation so that they have a source of actual proof of what happened going forward. Perspectives. Hunter's talking about perspectives, and you know, there's three sides to every story: your side, their side, and somewhere in the middle is likely the truth. Sometimes maybe over on the vertical feed, lots of comments. I've really started to second guess some of the things I thought were out there. Really? Yeah, no shit. And if certain tribes wrote it or paid for it, I know it's bullshit. Thousands of years of experience can be relied on. And that's another thing you can do is see who paid. See who paid for the research. A lot of things become really clear and a really duh. I can't believe that I believe that shit when you follow the money. when you follow the money and see who paid for the research. So I don't know. There's always seems to be an objective, ulterior motive, and it usually has to do with making somebody rich or making somebody poorer. And that's about how history goes. Anyway, guys, it's 10 after. I should probably start wrapping up here, get things going. I got a ton of makeup to do to catch up on videos for products I have sitting here that I've been using. The nice part is I've been able to use them quite a bit. I did get a really cool Bitcoin jersey in the mail yesterday from bitcoinshirt.com. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I'll get some video or some photos of it, get it up in the Telegram group at t.me/LOTSChat. Head on over there if you're not a member, t.me/LOTSChat, apply to join, and at some point I'll get through and approve you and get you in. At some point, we're going to be doing a giveaway for Blockstream Jade, Bitcoin hardware wallet over there in the Telegram group. But if you're looking for some Bitcoin gear, some t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, hoodies, long sleeve tees, head on over to bitcoinshirt.com. Use code TheLOTSProject for 10% off. Man, they got a ton. They got a ton of shirts and some really quality ones. So get over there, check them out. Use that discount code. I'll get a little credit. I'll earn a little commission. Other than that, make it over the hump, guys. Today, tomorrow we will be back. We'll be talking again over coffee in the morning. Head on out and find somebody to invite to join the coffee crew. I'd like to see it grow. So hope you have an awesome day. Hope you enjoyed the conversation, and we will get back with you tomorrow.
I can see the light. I can feel the sun.